A major part of your science fair project is creating your display and communicating your project to the judges. There are many ways you can personalize your display, but there are some fundamentals that you should think about first. When you plan out your display, you should focus on your work being complete, clear, and easy to follow. Typically, a trifold board will be split into several key sections: an abstract, which summarizes your study, an introduction section that tells the judges about the problem while stating your hypothesis and research question, details about your methods, a results section, conclusions, and references. In general, the rules do not allow you to put logos, acknowledgments, or affiliations on your board. Let's start with completeness. You may have collected more information or done more research than you can clearly show on your board, but you should include all of your data and research in a research report and logbook on your table in case judges would like to see more. On your board, you will want to be sure that all of the information needed to tell the judges about your project and for them or other viewers to understand your project, your results, and your conclusions is presented. You will want to start by planning out what information you need to show and consider the clearest ways to show that information. Often the clearest way is not with words, but with images. Your display board needs to be clear. This means that you need to have titles for each section, labels on all photos, diagrams, tables, and graphs, including credits for photos and details that help the judges understand your work. Graphs should always have axis labels and a title or a caption describing what you're showing. A good guideline is that the information should be understandable just by reading your board. We encourage the use of pictures, diagrams, and graphs where necessary because they are much easier for viewers to understand than tables of data or written descriptions and will allow you to more easily talk about your project. To improve clarity, it is best to use fewer words and more images. Make sure there is good contrast on images or on words, and avoid color combinations that may be difficult for people with color blindness. For example, do not create a graph that uses red and green as two contrasting colors because someone who is colorblind will not be able to tell them apart. Likewise, dark text on a dark background or light text on a light background will be hard to see. Be sure your text is large enough. In general, the smallest text should be size 24 so that people can read even the smallest text from a few feet away. Your display should be easy to follow for viewers. It is typical in scientific communication to provide information in the following order: abstract, introduction, methods, results and discussion, conclusions, and references. It's good practice to follow this order, but your board can be made easier to follow by adding clear headings, using labels and captions to fully explain all images, diagrams, and graphs, and using large enough font size. Positioning your most important results where it is easy for judges to see them and where they draw on the eye of the viewer makes it easier for viewers to understand what you found and for you to discuss the project. When you present your project, it is generally better to not read what's written on your board, but rather speak to the judges about how you chose your project, your question and hypothesis, what methods you used, and what you found. Sometimes, using bullet points on your board makes it easier to avoid reading your board and highlights just the most important information while serving as a reminder to you while you talk to the judges. Before you finalize your display or your presentation to the judges, it's a great idea to temporarily position your materials and explain your project to a parent, sibling, neighbor, or friend who doesn't know about your project to make sure it's complete, clear, and easy to follow.